because they said our apartment was possessed because weird stuff started happening and everything. You know, kind of like The Exorcist, you know, have you ever seen, you know, when demons come into people or whatever. And the devil had came into Blaine. You know, I mean, it sounds crazy, but I mean, I would not be making this stuff up.
I'm a Christian. I believe in demon possession.
Yeah, and I am too. And, you know, I kind of knew, I mean, I knew about demon possession, but, you know, you can't really believe something for sure until you see it with your own eyes. And so when the devil started coming in me, talking to me, saying, you know, I'm going to take Blaine's soul tonight, you know, all this kind of stuff, it started really freaking me out. And, you know, now it's gotten into Amora now. And then I said, okay, well, can't we, like, have an exorcism or something to get rid of it? And he said, God said it was too late. And I was like, what do you mean God said it was too late? Because if she doesn't go to heaven now, she will live her life with Satan having her soul. With Satan having her soul.
Two souls already burdened by their personal demons found twisted solace in each other's company, fanning the flames of their darkest instincts. Their partnership quickly evolved into a sinister bond, feeding off their shared appetite for chaos. As dependency on substances and each other deepened, their moral compass eroded, paving the way for a series of heinous acts that would forever mark an innocent 13-month-old baby girl. Baby Amora's tragic case echoes the most terrifying of horror films and stands as a stark reminder of the dangers that can proliferate when unchecked evil meets vulnerability. Baby Amora's life was filled with potential and innocence, but tragically, she became the victim of the perfect storm by her mother, if you can call her that, and her live-in felonious boyfriend. Their uncontrolled addiction and predilection for evil led them down a path of no return, culminating in acts of brutality that defy comprehension. The horrific events that unfolded serve as a profound cautionary tale, illustrating the catastrophic consequences that can arise when children are left unprotected in the presence of those with sinister intentions. In today's video, we delve into Amora's shocking case, honoring her memory while attempting to understand the depths of such human depravity. By exploring the twisted psychology of these perpetrators, we hope to glean crucial insights into the nature of evil and the warning signs that might help prevent similar tragedies. The story of Baby Amora is not only about the tragic loss of an innocent child, but is a call to all parents to remain vigilant about who they introduce into their children's lives. This shocking case lingers in the mind like an indelible nightmare, compelling us to confront the darkest aspects of human nature and the vulnerability of innocence. Baby Amora was born in Henderson, Texas on November 12, 2007 to Jessica Carson. I couldn't find much information about her father, but from what little I did find, his name is Arlene Matina. He was in the military, and it doesn't seem he had any involvement in her life. Baby Amora was absolutely adorable, with her cute little button nose and the most beautiful eyes, wide with wonder as she explored the world around her. She had the most infectious little smile and giggle, and was eager to uncover the wonders of her tiny universe. Unfortunately, her smiles and laughter were cut short. The horrors she endured her last day here on Earth were perpetrated by those entrusted with her safety, turning the sanctuary of family into a place of terror, leaving us to mourn not only her loss, but the beautiful life she never had the chance to live. Soon after giving birth to Amora in November of 2007, her mother Jessica, basically a child herself at only 18 years old, started dating 19-year-old Blaine Milam in January of 2008. They soon became engaged and moved into an apartment in Rusk County, Texas, struggling to care for little Amora and make ends meet. Blaine was far from a knight in shining armor. He harbored more skeletons in his closet than most could imagine at 19. He was a notorious bad seed, exhibiting a penchant for devious behavior that was just a prelude to the evil he would one day unleash. His father pulled him out of school in the 4th grade to homeschool him. Whether that happened or not is unclear, but it definitely isolated him, and he dove headfirst into a tumultuous life of debauchery, leaving me to question what the hell was going on in his home.
Named Blaine Milam, famous drummer, singer, band has ever known.
He began grooming young girls and found himself on probation for SA and solicitation of a child under 14 in August of 2008, just months before Amora's death. Jessica knew of this and was by Blaine's side through his legal troubles. According to court documents, State District Judge Clay Gossett sentenced Blaine to 180 days in jail, and he was prohibited from being around children except for his own biological children, of which he had none, or siblings as part of the probation conditions. None of those conditions were met. Someone dropped the ball. Blaine never spent a day behind bars, was living with Amora, and failed to register as an offender. Had he been placed behind bars for his 180-day sentence, Amora may still be here. And yet Jessica, in a breathtaking display of poor judgment, chose to welcome this parasite not only into her life, but around her innocent newborn daughter's life as well. Despite knowing every disgusting detail of Blaine's past, Jessica willingly exposed Amora to his chaos and destruction. She truly believed Blaine loved her and her daughter Amora. It's a decision that defies logic and reason, dragging all three of them into a spiraling abyss. Jessica's descent into darkness was swift and unforgiving. Before meeting Blaine, she was already mentally unstable and vulnerable, stemming from finding her father's body after he passed by his own hand. She was the perfect target for a predator like Blaine, a young, malleable single mother with an innocent baby girl in tow. The moment Blaine stepped into her life, she became ensnared in his web of manipulation and deceit. He tightened the chains of control around her, and with each passing day, his grip grew more suffocating, isolating Jessica from the support of family and friends. Those that knew Jessica prior to her meeting Blaine said that after he entered her life, she changed. She wasn't the same Jessica they had known. Not only was she pulling away, but even her outward appearance morphed into something they didn't recognize. She wouldn't leave the house without Blaine, and even went with him to work. As each day passed, their behavior became more erratic and unsettling. It remains uncertain whether it was the reckless use of illegal substances, or their dangerous dance into the realm of demons, or a sinister combination of both, but Jessica and Blaine began a terrifying descent into madness soon after they moved in together. They began dabbling with the Ouija board. Initially, it was a desperate attempt to communicate with their deceased fathers, but it spiraled into a haunting addiction that blurred the lines between reality and the supernatural. It all started with a whisper, subtle and insidious. Blaine confided in Jessica that he was hearing sinister voices, claiming to be demons that sought to possess him. Jessica was terrified there was a demonic force taking over their apartment, which led them to move into Blaine's mother's home. The move did not fix the problem, though. Things actually got worse. Blaine's demonic delusions began tightening their grip. The whispers grew louder, more demanding, until one fateful night, their dance with darkness erupted into a crime so chilling it left the world in shock and disbelief. On December 2nd, 2008, at 10:37 a.m., a 911 call came into Rusk County authorities. It was Blaine, reporting that he and Jessica had left his mother's home to visit a pawn shop, and upon their return they found Amora deceased. What's strange is Blaine's mother was staying with a relative at the time, so he's basically saying they left baby Amora, a 13-month-old, alone. But as authorities would soon find out, the truth behind Amora's death was something so sinister and depraved, it would haunt even the most seasoned investigators.
15 seconds.
Rescue 911.
Yes. My name's Blaine Milam, and my daughter, I just found her dead.
How old's your daughter?
13 months.
Ma'am, we're going to try CPR anyway, okay?
16
Get her to the
hours,
phone now.
51 minutes, 26 seconds.
Get her! Blaine, get her! Hurry!
Are you there?
Yes.
Y'all stalling is not helping her at all.
Go ahead.
If he's not going to do it, you could put the phone down and go get that baby and get her to the phone.
When authorities arrived at the home, Jessica and Blaine seemed distraught, holding each other and crying as you would expect from grieving parents. But when authorities found baby Amora's tattered body, they were horrified and knew immediately they were dealing with a homicide. They found her in a hole in the bathroom that Blaine had been renovating. Shaken by the condition of her body, law enforcement immediately focused their investigation into her death on Blaine and Jessica. While still on scene, Texas Ranger Kenny Ray pulled Blaine into his patrol car and conducted an interview trying to get any information possible as to what happened to baby Amora. And of course, the story changed.
Come on, sit down. It'd be warmer in here. Hey, Bub. Come on in, have a seat. I want to make sure that you understand I'm a Texas Ranger, okay? Mm-hmm. And I've got a tape recorder playing right now, but you're not under arrest. You understand that? Yes, I mean, you're sitting here in my car, and I'm talking because the tape can't see us. It can only hear us, okay? Yes. But you don't have handcuffs on. No. I asked you to come over here and just sit down. We're just sitting and visiting. Is that right?
Right.
Now, what I want you to do, Blaine, is just in your own words, and I know this is hard, buddy, but I want you to just tell me what happened this morning.
I gave her a bottle. We were walking down to the property. We call it the property because that's where I'm having our new mobile home put.
Okay, you gave the baby a bottle?
Yes.
Okay.
It's in there on the bed.
All right, okay. Go ahead. And you and Jess walked down to the property?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we just started marking off the stuff, and about an hour flies by, and between that hour and a half, we walk down here, walk in the house.
Okay. Go
and
ahead.
She wasn't nowhere to be found.
Okay. Go ahead, I'm listening to you.
Alright, and then by that time, we're searching for her, and there's a hole in my mama's bathroom.
Okay.
Alright. That's where she was.
After speaking with Blaine, Officer Ray then pulled Jessica into his patrol car for an interview.
You're Jess? My name's Kenny Ray. I'm with the Texas Rangers, okay? Will you talk to me for a few minutes? Okay. I'm going to record what we say so I don't forget anything, okay? How old are you?
18.
Okay. All right, tell me, just start off. Tell me the story about what happened this morning.
Okay,
What from the...
We decided to go out to the property, so we walked down to the property, and we didn't plan on being there that long, but we just got and start talking details about everything, about the trailer and everything. And
Did Blaine resent you having the baby? Did that cause a problem in y'all's relationship?
No, he loved that little baby.
Why would he hurt her?
Huh?
Why would he hurt her?
He wouldn't.
Why would he lie to me then?
Huh?
Why would he lie to me? He told me you were an honor graduate in Longview High School. You're a very smart girl. Y'all were together this morning for about an hour or an hour and a half, and your stories do not match. one of you's lying to me or both of you's lying. Right now is the time for you to tell me the truth about what. Let's get it out. That's the only way that this is ever going to be right, is for us to get it out. So right now, just tell me what happened.
I would never hurt that baby.
Tell me what
I
happened.
wouldn't either.
Tell me what
He
happened.
loves that little baby.
But just tell me the truth about what happened. Let's get it so you can get it off your chest. Because it's just going to eat you up if you don't. It's just going to eat you up.
No,
Tell me what happened.
I could tell you, but you wouldn't believe me.
I will. I will believe you.
No, you won't.
I will believe you. I promise
If
you.
you do, none of the other cops won't. Because it's something that they would not believe.
I will believe you. I promise you, I will believe you.
But they won't. And they're going to think we're lying about it, and we're not. That's why we made up this story.
Right. Tell me what really happened, because this is the time to get it right. And speak up loud enough so I can hear it on the tape.
Let's see, when was it? It was in September. Blaine's dad died in September, early September. And right after he died, we bought an Ouija board. And we didn't know they were bad and it was an omen or anything like that. Like, we're very strong believers of God and everything. And we bought an Ouija board, and then, you know, we heard that it worked, but we never actually did believe people when they said it would work. So we wanted to try it out for ourselves. And then, you know, my dad's dead too. He died when I was 10.
I'm sorry.
And, you know, so I asked my daddy that I thought, you know, a question that he would know that nobody else would know. And I had never told Blaine that. And so when he spelled it out and everything, I was like, you know, this is my daddy. And so we did that, and, you know, like, this is like a telephone to heaven, and we thought it was really cool and everything. So we kept talking to our dads, telling them how much we missed them. And, you know, and we talked to him for about 8 hours straight that night. And we started getting really freaked. And we got this little music box from one of his friends that's Chinese. And it has these Chinese people singing, you know, God will protect us, demons leave this house, because they said our apartment was possessed because weird stuff started happening and everything. So we left, and we kept that music box there and blessed it, and then we blessed the Ouija board, and then we threw it away. And, you know, kind of like The Exorcist, you know, have you ever seen, you know, when demons come into people or whatever. And the devil had came into Blaine. And, you know, I mean, it sounds crazy, but I mean, I would not be making this stuff up.
I'm a Christian. I believe in demon possession.
Yeah, and I am too. And, you know, I kind of knew, I mean, I knew about demon possession, but, you know, you can't really believe something for sure until you see it with your own eyes. And so when the devil started coming in me, talking to me, saying, you know, I'm going to take Blaine's soul tonight, you know, all this kind of stuff, it started really freaking me out. And, you know, now it's gotten into a more now. And then I said, okay, well, can't we, like, have an exorcism or something to get rid of it? But Blaine came back outside, and I said, what did you run in the house saying Amora for? He said, God told me she got that hammer and was hitting herself in the head, and those marks on her head was, I think, from that where she was hitting herself, or that demon was hitting herself on the head. I was like, you know, there's got to be something else we can do. I was like, we can get money, we can go to a minister and see if he can help, or go to find a priest somewhere and see if, you know, we can make payments on them doing exorcism or something. See if we can do just anything. There's got to be another way. And he said, God said it was too late. And I was like, what do you mean God said it was too late? And then he was crying while he was saying this and everything. He was like, because if she doesn't go to heaven now, she will live her life with Satan having her soul, you know?
After speaking with Jessica and Blaine on scene, it was obvious they were both telling wild tales filled with lies. Officer Ray arrested both of them, finding illegal substances in Blaine's system. Soon after their arrest, detectives subjected them to further interrogations in an attempt to get closer to the truth. As the investigation deepened, law enforcement became convinced that not only Blaine, but Jessica as well, were responsible for Amora's tragic death. Piecing all of the evidence together painted a picture so depraved, it makes horror movies look like child's play. Blaine and Jessica were convinced Amora had become possessed by a demon and decided Blaine would perform an exorcism in an attempt to save her. This monster took precious little Amora into the back bedroom and for hours on end subjected her tiny innocent body to unspeakable suffering. The autopsy found that there was not a single area on Amora's body without injury. Forensic evidence proved Blaine inflicted most of the injuries, but also proved some injuries were inflicted by Jessica. A pair of jeans was found with Amora's blood on them, along with other blood evidence throughout the back room. In a strange twist to the case, what investigators originally thought was blood in the bathroom where Amora was found, it turned out to be fake blood used to throw investigators off in an attempt to keep them out of the back bedroom where the crime actually took place. Police also received a disturbing call from Blaine's aunt, stating he called her from jail, asking her to go to the house and remove evidence from the crime scene. She also revealed he called her on the morning of Amora's death around 9:30 a.m. to tell her he found Amora dead. She told him to call 911 immediately, but his call did not come through until after 10:30 a.m., over an hour later. This information prompted investigators to return to the crime scene, where they found a pipe wrench wrapped in plastic buried in the hole in the bathroom where Amora was found. Forensic testing proved it was used in the crime. Investigators also unearthed a chilling series of events that unfolded with Jessica and Blaine the morning of Amora's death, prior to the 911 call. They were spotted darting around town on a series of bizarre and suspicious errands. They made a desperate attempt to pawn a chainsaw and an assortment of other tools, along with trying to secure a cash loan. They were then captured on security cameras at a gas station and a Walmart shopping center. Investigators speculated that Jessica and Blaine were frantically trying to gather cash, possibly with the intention of evading capture once Amora was found. The investigation also revealed Amora had been dead for hours prior to the 911 call. So while Blaine and Jessica were out casually running errands, her daughter was lying in filth in a hole back at their home. It's haunting to watch their casual demeanor, knowing what they had just put an innocent baby through. I personally think the demons and exorcism were just a ruse used by Blaine to get Jessica to go along with what his sick mind wanted to do to Amora all along. In shocking and unsettling cases like this, the question of why haunts those of us who attempt to try and understand the mind of monsters. The horrifying acts committed by Blaine and Jessica have left many grappling for answers. Speculation in this case often turns to the toxic combination of illegal substances and dabbling in the supernatural as potential catalysts for their descent into madness. Indeed, these factors might have distorted their perception of reality, creating fertile ground for dark delusions to take root. However, it's crucial to look beyond these surface-level explanations and consider the deeper psychological dynamics at play. Blaine's alleged manipulation of Jessica through fear and the invocation of demonic possession suggests a calculated effort to exert control. It seems plausible that he deliberately ensnared Jessica, using her vulnerabilities to gain access to her daughter Amora. This points to a premeditated scheme where Blaine systematically broke down Jessica's defenses over time, exploiting her weaknesses to achieve his sinister objectives. While Blaine's manipulation is evident, Jessica's role in this tragedy cannot be understated. Despite the psychological and emotional manipulation she may have faced, Jessica failed to protect her daughter and actively participated in the horrors inflicted upon Amora. This complicity strips her of any claim to victimhood and underscores the dual culpability in this heinous crime. Together, Blaine and Jessica formed a toxic alliance, feeding off each other's depravity, ultimately leading to one of the most horrific crimes in American history. Blaine Milam was convicted of the capital murder of 13-month-old Amora Carson in 2010 and was sentenced to death. At 19 years old, Blaine was one of the youngest convicted murderers to be condemned to death. His trial was moved from Rusk County to Montgomery County due to the high-profile nature of the case. His conviction and death sentence were affirmed on direct appeal by the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals in 2021. He subsequently sought post-conviction relief in both state and federal courts, but his petitions were denied. In 2021, he was granted a stay of execution, but his death sentence remains in place. It's baffling to me how individuals like Blaine, who have spent their entire existence perpetrating heinous acts against the innocent, crumble when confronted with the consequences of their actions. These monsters, who have inflicted unimaginable pain and suffering, reveal their true cowardice when faced with the justice they so richly deserve. Rather than acknowledging their crimes and accepting the punishment prescribed by the law, they cling desperately to the notion of freedom, as if it were a right they still possess. In stark contrast, Amora was denied the chance to live her life, her potential brutally extinguished by Blaine's callousness. This egregious sense of entitlement fuels their predatory nature, allowing them to exploit the vulnerable with ease, and alarmingly, this mentality persists even behind prison walls. Such depravity, masked as bravado, reveals a profound cowardice that has no place in our society. Blaine and others like him represent a malignancy in our society that must be excised to protect the innocent and uphold the values of humanity. Jessica Carson was convicted of capital murder in April of 2011 for her role in the death of her 13-month-old daughter, Amora. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Just like Blaine, she did appeal her conviction, but thankfully the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals upheld her sentence. Blaine's mother lives in the delusion he's innocent. Maybe it's too difficult for her to process that her own son could be capable of such horrors. I'm sure as a mother, that would be a difficult road to traverse, coming to the realization your own son is the epitome of evil. But I find it disrespectful to publicly proclaim his innocence. I think it's a slap in the face to Amora's memory. She's the victim here, an innocent baby, not her son.
Yeah, I'm afraid. Because I know he's innocent. And I'm afraid for all of them in there, actually. I don't even think they should have a death penalty. Yeah, it was. I wish I didn't have to sell it. That house where that house is sitting, it's up a little bit like that.
She cries for Blaine and having to sell the property where the horrific murder took place, but I don't hear her say a single word about the tragic loss of the real victim here, Amora, a baby for God's sake. I can't help but think her inability to hold Blaine accountable was a common thread in his upbringing and could have played a role in molding his entitlement, feeding his monster within, if you will. That lack of accountability allowed his evil proclivities to grow and fester. To this day, Blaine proclaims his innocence. He and his mother publicly blame Jessica and her demonic delusions for all of this. They believe that Blaine was a victim here. He didn't get a fair trial, and the upstanding citizen he is, he should be free to live his life outside of prison. Rest in love, sweet Amora. We will be your voice, and you will never be forgotten.